Okay, hello everyone. As I mentioned in the last video, today we are going to design turntable to do shots like the one you can see on the screen. For this turntable, I used the same DC motor controller we used last time to build housing for it, but this time we're not gonna use this housing or this box. We're gonna create new housing for the turntable, so everything will be built in the turntable. So let's start. So as always, we are starting with opening our FreeCAD, new file, create body, and of course we're starting with sketch. So the first body we're gonna create will be how it's called. Will be a bearing because I used the bearing I designed and created myself. I used 9.5 millimeter, 9.5 millimeter ball bearings I bought on Amazon, and everything else we're gonna design ourselves. I already know the measurements for this bearing, so you don't have to measure it yourself. I did a lot of tries. I've printed a lot of them to make sure that balls will be tight, not too loose in the bearing. So first we need a circle, 112.5 millimeter round in diameter. Okay, we can close the sketch. We're gonna use this just as a reference, and now we need origins. Yes, and we want to create datum plane on XZ. Got it. Yeah, we don't need origins anymore, and we're gonna create sketch on this surface. Again, to have reference point, external geometry. And now we want this to be 9.6 in diameter. 9.6. Yep. So we are creating kind of track for the ball bearings. Oh, 2 millimeter. But to have this circle 67.85, let it be 68. Okay, let me just check something in the origin. .05. I don't know why, but 68 will be just fine. Let's go back to the sketch. So 68. This one you want to be 2 millimeters. If you want different size of it, you can do it, but we're gonna need this, all these measurements for later. And for this one, we know that this is half of the 9.6, which is 4.8. So 4.8 plus 2, 6.8. And we've got this one already done. Okay, so we've got the shape of our track. And now we want to create round track from this. We don't need this sketch, but we need this sketch. And we're gonna use revolution. And we've got revolution. Dimension, vertical sketch axis, 360. Okay, done. We've got, let it be top or bottom part of the bearing. Yep. So balls are going here, top cover, and we got it. Yep. What we need to do is, if we're gonna put them two together like a sandwich, they will be sliding on each other, which we don't want. So we want to lower it down, these two, at about, with this measurement I've got, we're gonna do it 0.05 millimeter. So the gap between them will be about 0.1 millimeter. To do it, I'm gonna use this plane sketch, and we're gonna create a sketch, round sketch above it, close, and we're gonna use this sketch and pocket to kind of slice 0.05 millimeter. Now we're slicing 5 millimeters, yeah? So we're gonna put 0.05, enter, and that's it. We can barely see it, or we can't see it, but trust me, it's there. $675. Okay, and we're gonna extend thickness of it 0.2, but 0.2, bang. And now if we're gonna put them together, we've got 14 millimeters. Yes, because this is 6.95 plus 0.05, we cut it, so that's 7 millimeter, and another one the same. We've got 14 millimeters, so it will be easier to do adjustments later. Okay, so let's make a copy of this. Control C, everything, Control V, and we've got copy. Okay, so now we want to be able to attach it to something. What I did create like a cross across this with some holes. So sketch on this. Second, we want this body to be active. And sketch. This will be our reference. And I'm doing this way. One arc, one arm, second arm, third arm, and fourth arm. We want them to be aligned horizontally and them to vertically. So now we can draw arms. And we want them to be 10 millimeter thick. So we're gonna do distance L from the center 5. 5 I 5 I 5. We got it. Yep. And we want hole in the middle. And we're gonna make it 8 millimeters diameter. And that's it for now. And of course we're using a path. It disappeared because this path went this way and we want it to go this way. So reversed, and we have it. Yeah, but we don't want 10 millimeters. I made it 4 millimeters thick. That's more than enough. 4 millimeters. Got it. But how are we gonna attach it anywhere? Through this hole? No, this hole will be used to attach them together. Yeah, there will be kind of a bolt going through the center, sticking them together. So, but to attach something else, we're gonna use holes on these arms. So again, sketch. And because I've got 2 millimeter screws or bolts, we're gonna use 2 millimeter holes. There will be 5 of them. And to make my life easier, I want them to be 10 millimeters apart. L 10, L 10. So to this one, L 10. Okay, so we want them on all 4 arms, yes, but we can do a trick. So we got it here. Pocket, 5 millimeters going through. Yeah, 4. And now this pocket, which is this one, we can do polar pattern. Yes, it's going just through 2 of them, because here you can see occurrences 2, 3, and 4. So it's always going the same way, the same amount of angles, degrees. Yep, 3, 4, and they're all the same. Okay, and we got it. We got first half of the bearing. So again, we need another piece. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and now we can modify this one the way we want. So let's create first the one with the gear. What would be the best way to do it? Let's try first this way. So we're gonna attach gear directly to this surface. In my design we need crown gear, and as you can see, you can't see teeth on this one. To see them, we have to go to accuracy, preview mode, change to false, and now you can see them. But I already can see that we'll have a problem. I don't know how to attach a different way, so we're gonna do it different way. Delete. Okay, go back to part design, body, go back to gear, create gear. So it's separate part from that bearing for now, and we need 48 teeth. Sorry, not 48. It's supposed to be was it 80? Yep, I think it was 88. We need this diameter to be, yes, we need this radius to be 44, so that's correct. 44 radius, but we don't want this to be 4mm high, and high in the gear, high means actually how thick it's gonna be. So look at this, 2mm now, 4. Sorry, we have to close measurements. So we want this to be 4mm thick. Yep, see, 4mm, but this dimension stayed as 44. Yep, that's great. But we want this, as I designed it, we want this to be flat with this. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna lower it down, and we're gonna use 0.05mm. And that's it. Close. Now we can go to part, and we want this and this part to be one. So here, union, or go to part, boolean, union. Then, so it's union, now it's fusion. But we want this to be in the body. So fusion, go part design, sorry, create body, and then we've got body. We also want this to be flat with this, so control, highlight it, pad, but we're gonna make pad not by dimension but up to face, and mark this face. Beautiful. Okay, looks great. Everything looks great. Let's save it. I will name it video 2. It's my second attempt, to be honest, because something happened with my video. Okay, so we've got this, but we also want to have one of them with the motor, because this will be on top like that. The second one will be underneath with motor attached and the gear spinning on this gear. So we want Control C, Control V. We're gonna name them gear platform, motor platform, okay. So okay, first we're gonna create a housing for a motor, housing or attachment that will be attached to this one. So again, new body, sketch, again is this. And now I know that I need 20.2 millimeter hole for the motor. I want to have wall that will be 2 millimeters. So diameter 20.2 plus 4. And that's it. And we have to determine how far it's supposed to be motor shaft from this gear. And I already know we're gonna create a gear, another gear for the motor that will be 44 1 second, how much was it? Oh, I can't remember how much was it. We're gonna create gear like this. And it will be yeah, 44 millimeters, I was right. 44 millimeters. So we need to determine the distance between center of the motor shaft to the gear. So we know that 44 millimeters, so it would be 22 millimeters. Motor is 20 millimeters wide, so it will be 10. We'll have 7 millimeters plus this distance. $295. So it will be $995. $995 plus 10, that's $1995. And we need 22, so 22 minus 1995, that's 2.05. 2.05, that's the thickness of this fit. So that's distance from the motor to the bottom. You'll see what I mean. So from here to here should be 2.05. So from here to here, it's 10.1 plus 2.05, and that's it. And we want this to be, let's say, 3 millimeter thick. Same this one. And we want to have screw on the side of the motor, so we can screw it from the top, but we can do it from the bottom as well. So we want this is 12.1. Plus 3 plus 3. Let it be this way, 18.1. The same here, 18.1. And we got it. Get the sketch, okay. Again, pad. We want this to be 15 millimeters. I think that should be enough, 15 or 20, but we're gonna do 15. Okay. And of course we need front wall. So again, sketch on this plane. We don't need to see this gear for now. So sketch. Okay, and we're gonna do it easier way. Just create some square or rectangle on the surface. Close it. We want this to be 3 mm thick. 3. By using path. Yep. And now we can just highlight this and do pocket, and it's gone. This is what we needed. And we need holes on this one. So again, sketch. You wanted to see circle, center. Yep. We need how big? 8 mm. Yeah, we're gonna do 8.1. 8.1. Yeah, no, sorry. For motor shaft, it's okay. For motor shaft, guys, we've got these dimensions, so we can see 20, 20.4. Got 7 mm. Yeah, we're gonna do 8. This will be 3. Yep. 8 be more than enough. And again, let's see it. And distance between these holes, which are 2.5, is 15 mm. So we need 2.5, 2.5. Let's have them in one line. Horizontal. Distance between them, length 15, so 7.5 from the center. Got it. Close. Pocket. Bang. Got it. We also need holes in here, so we're gonna create on the bottom. Sketch, obviously. Reference lines. And I did 6, 3 on each side. Maybe 3 is overkill, but it's better to have it than not to have it. We want them to be aligned vertically. And them horizontally. Okay. And this one is 18, yep. So 4 mm. Sorry, length 3 mm, but I 4. Sorry, 4.5. I 4.5. No, this one we're gonna do 4 and 4, 4. Oh, 4.5, so everything will be 4.5. Yep, there's more than enough space. And again, pocket. Done. And this we will need this measurement, 36.2. Okay, so we've got this. So now the motor platform. We're gonna need to create attachment for this housing on this surface. And the way I'm doing this, you can just create like a surface here to attach motor on it. So let's do it. Again, sketch, of course. Okay, motor platform. That's why I called it motor platform. And we want to have platform here. And of course, we need a distance. Where is our gear on the other bearing? And we know the wall, it's 44 in diameter. So we know where to place the end of the motor housing, shaft, sorry. So we need this line as reference. Let's go at bottom. So we need, this will be the edge of the platform. We want it to be 45 degrees. 45. And we want this to be as long as this motor housing or motor attachment. And we know that it's 36.2 wide. And we're going to create arms. Vertical. So now we have to determine this distance. Oh, and we want them to be equal. So now it's always in the middle. Yeah. Now we need a distance from here to here. And to determine this distance, we're gonna place point in the middle. Okay, so this means it's in the middle. And distance from here to here needs to be, because our gear is 4 millimeter wide, so it's not 44, it's 48 minus length of the shaft, which is 7 millimeter. So this and this distance will be 48 minus 7, and there it is. This is the edge. This is this edge. So from here to the end of the shaft, it's 7 millimeters. Okay, we're still in the sketch, but now we need these 6 holes. Yep, and this will be tricky because we know because now they are not horizontally against each other or vertically. Yep, they in the 45 degrees angle. So what we can do is make them on one line. Same here. And these lines we want to have 45 degrees from here. 45. Yep. Now we want distance between them to be 4.5. Okay, so we want this to be 4.5. Distance between them 4.5. This is what we did on the motor housing, motor attachment, 4.5. Same here, 4.5. Four and a half, and we want this distance also 4.5. At the moment I can't remember how to make these lines, just the reference lines, so I will just delete them and have to be careful not to move anything. Okay, close the sketch. Okay, we didn't delete one line. Go back to sketch and delete this line. Close it. And now pad. Of course it disappeared because we needed the other way. Reverse. And of course we want this to be flat with the surface, so not dimension but up to face. Bank. Beautiful. Beautiful, and motor will be over here with the gear. Yep. So let's create a gear now. Let's save it. So let's create a gear now. Again, body. Go to gear. We're gonna make just a involute gear. Okay, and we need this gear to have 48 teeth. High will be 4. 48. I'm not sure if it was 48. Nope. No. 44. 26. "42 teeth, and we need abandon diameter 44. So 44 is from one teeth to the another one. So we need 42 teeth, 4 in high, so thickness will be 4. Module 1, so this teeth is 1 millimeter. Space between them and top. And we're gonna leave everything as it is. I'm not changing anything. Yep. I can see there are some new features like axle hole. Let's try this. Okay, but we'll have to modify this hole. That's why we're not gonna have it here. Yeah, we're gonna create it by ourselves. So go back to part design and make sketch. So we need a hole in the middle, but this hole needs to have like a flat spot. Do not spin on the shaft. So let's make the arc. Excuse me. Yes, and the flat spot will be over here. Let's make it horizontally straight away. Yep. And we want this to be, the shaft is 4 millimeters, so of course we're doing 4.1. And distance from here to here should be 1.5, so we're gonna make 1.6. It's all from this drawing, yeah. Shaft is 4, as you can see here. Yep, but this flat spot, it's 3.5. Okay, close the sketch, pocket. Okay, got it. And now, okay, we've got everything we need for to have a turntable, to be honest, because we can just put this together, put the motor in, attach, connect the motor controller, and we can turn it on. But we still will need to attach them two together. But first we're gonna create the housing for it. So let's close this, get a new body. I call it housing, and of course sketch. Housing, it's a round box, of course. Round box. Let's check radius, 68 millimeters radius. Let's go back to sketch, 68 radius, yeah. So we're gonna make 68. A second, it's radius. 68.1 plus, did I do 2 millimeter wall? Yep, plus 2. Yep, so as you can see, we're gonna have 2 millimeter wall around it. Close, pad, 3 millimeter thick. Okay, and now we're gonna create walls. Again, sketch, to have this reference. Outer surface of the wall. And this one, radius. .1. Close. But and when you determine the height of this box, you need to consider thickness of the bearing, both parts together, so it will be 14 millimeters, plus size of the gear that we're gonna use, so it's not gonna touch the bottom. In my case, this size is 53 millimeters. So the whole box will be 56 because we've got a 3 millimeter bottom. We don't need this platform. So this will be our box. Yep. Let's save it just in case. But now the bearings need to be sitting on something. So we're gonna create four pillars for attachment. So again, this surface sketch. So we need 4 2 millimeters holes. And walls will be 3 millimeter. Three millimeters should be enough. So it will be 6. Six millimeter diameter. That should be enough. Or maybe we should make it 10. No, we're gonna leave 6. We want them to be horizontally aligned and vertically aligned. V. And we want them to be 50 millimeter from the center, because we've got this 5 holes, 10 millimeter. distance each, so last one will be 50. We want this to be attached to the last one, so let's make a circle 100 in diameter. We want them all to be attached to this circle. So now they all the same distance. Are they not? To make it the same distance, let's connect them this way and this way. Let's make this equal. Now they can't move. Yep. Delete, delete, delete. Close the sketch. And we want these pillars to be 39 millimeter tall. 39 plus 14, it's 53, so it will be flat with the edge of the box. Yep. 53 plus 40 millimeters thickness of the ball bearing. So now we need to attach a motor somewhere. To do that, we're going to create a small wall here because we don't want to attach it to the round wall. So we need something flat. To sketch again, I'm gonna use this reference. This will be our wall. And we want this to be 32 millimeters long. Okay, close the sketch. And we want this to be we want this to be 10.6 plus 4.1. Okay, I put this high of this wall because we're gonna put a hole for motor steering here, so you will see in a minute. Now we're gonna create pillars for the motor controller. So of course sketch. So we need 3 millimeter. That's the only 3 millimeter holes we're gonna create in here. Three. 7 to have 2 millimeter thick walls. That should be enough. Again, we want them vertically aligned. Sorry. Horizontally aligned. H. And this one H. This one V. This one and this one V. And we know we want this two L to be 26 millimeters and then I to be 48 millimeters. 44, sorry. 44 millimeters apart. And we want them to be I 3.2 millimeters from this. And how long is this one? 32. And the distance between them it's 26. So from the edge, from here to here, L, we need 32 minus 26 divided by 2, and we've got equal distance. And that's it. Close, but 3 millimeter. Okay. And that's it. And now we need a hole in this wall. Sketch. This line says reference. Hole 8.1. And we need this to be create a point. Let's create a point for reference. From here to here, we want to have 10.6. So now we can see why I did it this way. Yep. Close, but we want to have more space here because it's 4. We need another 11 millimeters. It's 4. We need let's make it 5. And sketch, pocket, and we've got a pocket for the shaft of the motor controller regulator, but we want to have a hole in this place here. So we're gonna do it a different way. Okay, we did it wrong. Let's go back. Let's delete this. Now we're gonna create. Okay, first hole we need will be 15, and so it will be 15.2, the same distance from the bottom. I 10.6, 10.6, close. Now we need to determine now we're gonna do the trick with this sketch. Gonna make a path this way. Okay. Now we can, without measuring, we can make a hole in here. Hole. We need this to be 7 millimeters. Okay. And now we're gonna make a pocket. You want 2 millimeters inside, about 2 millimeters. Let's check. We want this to be 2 millimeters. And it's exactly 2 millimeters. Perfect. Close. And as you can see, we got the housing. Yep. Perfect. If you want to save some filament, you can lower this down, but you have to be careful not to go through here. Let's see if it's gonna work. Pocket. Yep, that should be enough. We can do the same here. So actually let's do it. And we need to do a sketch on the top. Sketch. And we want 2 arcs. Actually, you know what? No, we're not gonna do it. We're gonna leave it as it is. Yeah, we're gonna leave it this way. We don't need this sketch. Let's save it now. So we've got the attachment for the motor controller. Now we need also a pocket for the switch. So again, we're going to create pretty much the same thing as here. So we can sketch. We've got this pillar, so we need to make it over here, over here. I'm gonna make it here because we don't have enough space in here. gonna use the same method. And this thing we need this to be at least 21. So let's make it 22 millimeters. 22. Sorry, number 2. Delete. Now we have this 22 millimeter white, and let's check that it's not on the way of this pillar. So let's make it perpendicular. Yep, that should be fine. Let's close the sketch. And now path. But we don't need this from, or actually we're gonna do it. So we want this to be, we already have 22 millimeters wide, and we need space of 15, so 16 millimeter. We're gonna do 2 dimensions. Yeah. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I want this to be 1 centimeter from the bottom. Yeah, 10 millimeters. And I need 15 millimeters, so it will be 25. This is 15 millimeters now, because 25 minus 10 is 15. Yep. Okay. And for this one, we're gonna make flat surface the same way, but reversed. Four millimeter, okay. And now to have a pocket, we're gonna make pocket. We did 4 millimeters. Remember, 1, 2, 3. That should be enough. And we need hole in here. Sketch. Reference lines. And we needed this to be 20 by 14. 13.7. So 20, so 1 millimeter. 1 millimeter from here and 13.7 here. This will be 15 minus 13.7 divided by 2. That's it. Close, pocket, and we've got a perfect hole for a switch. Yep, easy peasy, yeah. Everything is easy if you know how to do it. And for the power connector, we have enough space in here. So we're gonna use the same method, sketch, another sketch, and another, and another, and another. Should we use the same method? Yeah, we're gonna use the same method because we need this reference anyway. Okay, we got it. And we're gonna need a hole that will be max 8 millimeters wide. So let's make it okay. What happened? Let's delete this. Let's make new sketch. I mean, we're still in the sketch. Yeah? Guys, I don't know if these are the right ways of doing all of this. This is how I'm doing this. If you know how it works, if you know these tools, you can figure out your own ways how to design things. Wait, no, we're gonna do it 9. Close. And we want the sketch to be, yeah, let it be the same. $19mm tall. And here I'm gonna create a sketch. So we need now a hole for the power socket. which is made out of 2 arcs and 2 flat spots. Vertical. This needs to be 8, so 8.1. And then to 6.6. But we want them to be equal. Yep. And we want this to be 4 point. Like before. .1. Close. Pocket. And we've got pocket for power switch. We don't need any flat surface here or anything like that. Bang. And ladies and gentlemen, we got our housing done. This is it. This is all we need. I can see something here, so I'm scared that there will be some hole visible from here. So I will make this as it was before. Yep, and it's done. Perfect. In the original design I also did a small attachment here to put the bracket for wires, but it's not necessary. You can connect motor directly to the DC controller, to the DC motor controller. Yep. And now we're gonna create pin that will connect two ball bearings. So we know distance between them is, between top surfaces will be 14 millimeters. And in this one I will show you how to do this pins that will be sticking out. I'm not gonna create the holes inside, or maybe it will. Yeah, let's make it. So sketch on this one. Sketch, and we want to hide this pin. Actually on bottom we don't need to hide it. We don't need to hide it on the bottom. We need to hide it on the top. So platform gear. Yep, so we want this surface to be flat. It will be easier for us. So gear platform active body, sketch. Okay, anyway, we know we've got here 8 millimeters. Yep, let's make it 12, so 2 millimeters here. Close sketch and pocket, 2 millimeters pocket. Yep, 2 millimeters. And we've got 2 millimeters pocket. So now distance between here and there will be 12 millimeters, so 14. So we need new body. We're starting with creating this thing. Body sketch. So we need 12 millimeters, so let's make it 11.9. Close, you want this to be 2 millimeter thick. 2 millimeters. And now on this surface we do sketch. That will be, we've got this 8 millimeters, so this one will be 7.9. Yes, and we want this to be 12 millimeters. 12. Okay. And we want to have pocket in here. So again, sketch. Let's have this reference. Pocket in here. How big pocket we can make? 4 by 4. Great. So we need 2 millimeter and 2 millimeter. 4 millimeter pocket. Let it be 8 millimeter. No. Let it be 3 millimeter. That's enough, and we need pocket here for screw. Two millimeter wide. And this pocket can be 5 millimeters. Okay, and we need pin that will go inside this one. So another body, another sketch, and also 12 millimeters. Close. Let it be 3 millimeter. And we're gonna create here another sketch. We've got 4 millimeters, so we need 3.9, 3.9. Or actually we're gonna make 3.8, 3.8. 3.8, 3.8. And 1.9, 1.9. Close. And how long we did this? 3 millimeter. Yep. So we're gonna make this sketch path 2.9, and we also need a hole through. So another sketch, reference, to pocket. Needs to go through the whole thing. Yep. And we're gonna make here chamfer one, that'll be 2 millimeters. Okay. But we're gonna make this, no, that's correct, this will be on the bottom. No, we want this to be 2 millimeters because this will be sorry. Pocket, 1 millimeter pocket. So now this is 2 millimeters. Chamfer 2 millimeters. So this will be on the top, so we can screw it and unscrew it whenever I want. Okay, that's done now. And now enjoy watching how to assemble it. See you in next video.